FedEx did not break up with Amazon without any other plans of what they might be able to move into. A clear opportunity there with the Dollar General stores. And then as well this week, and we don't know if there's a clear relationship here with FedEx, but we've seen Shopify, who's another, you talk about Dollar General, Walmart, Target, they seem kind of like these lazy older businesses. Well, Shopify is moving into physical distribution and fulfillment, announcing yesterday at their Investor Day that they're going to offer customers access to a network of dedicated U.S. fulfillment centers to store and ship consumer goods for online orders. They're going to use machine learning to forecast demand and allocate inventory to route orders to the closest fulfillment centers. And they're going to be working with logistics providers to make that happen. Obviously, as you see, Shopify, which is a company that aggregates a lot of small sellers together to offer logistics services. That's another opportunity for FedEx. Do you think that's going to be a bigger trend over time, Dan? You see all these small sellers uniting together through Shopify and other offerings to maybe bring down the cost of their logistics operations.
So I do see this as an opportunity for FedEx, but if you're on the Shopify platform, you have the ability to make shipping a service. And what Shopify does is it sort of matches what you're shipping with the best provider. Mm-hmm. Now, could FedEx go in and make a deal so it's the best provider more often? Could it have staffing at these warehouse distribution center locations? There's a huge opportunity here. And basically any platform, and we saw this with stamps.com at Shop Talk earlier this year, any platform that businesses are using has to sort of integrate shipping and logistics because you're competing with what was a 2-day standard that's becoming a 1-day standard. So if you and I have a regional company, let's say we sell, model trains that we make ourselves, the standard for the consumer is going to be, I get it in 2 days. They're not going to wait for 2 weeks because I could save $1.50 by shipping it in 2 weeks. Everything is going to have to get Amazon level efficient down to some pretty small companies, and a Shopify can do that, and FedEx can certainly come in and help make that happen.
Yeah, so I think, taking all this together more broadly, I think in the near term, this is probably going to hurt FedEx somewhat. I mean, because you've had this existing business from Amazon that's just going to fall off. Some analysts have estimated that it could lower FedEx earnings by as many as 40 cents a share. However, when you look at the opportunity moving forward, growth rates in e-commerce away from Amazon are actually growing faster. And there are some opportunities to forge some relationships today that could be really significant going forward. Any last thoughts on FedEx?
So to tie this up with the dating analogy, this is FedEx breaking up with its girlfriend, but it spent the last few years flirting all around. It knows that a lot of people are interested. So instead of having this monogamous relationship, FedEx is going to be dating a different supermodel every day part. So this is it'll hurt in the short term simply because you can't build these massive relationships quickly. It takes time. But I see this as, a quarter, 2 quarters, and then FedEx is going to be in a much better position. And chances are you're going to see their Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, all those other non-Amazons, you're going to see that business ramp up very quickly.
Yeah, Dan, I think for me, when I look at ways, I think e-commerce is going to be a really significant trend going forward. I think everybody believes that. But you see so many players getting into the selling part of that market. When you look at the logistics part of the industry, it appears it's consolidating into an oligopoly. FedEx, UPS, maybe Amazon is pushing in there. And with the growth in all those other parts of e-commerce outside of Amazon, this looks like it could be an interesting place to sniff around for an opportunity to play a trend in a market that may be less competitive going forward. But we'll see. Obviously, it's hard to say things are less competitive when Amazon is lurking around, but interesting way to play the e-commerce trend.
And don't forget the U.S. Postal Service, because the reality is that, they're a big piece of the Amazon business. In fact, they're Amazon's biggest partner. So you sort of have Amazon, UPS, U.S. Postal Service on one side, FedEx on the other. It wouldn't shock me if you saw FedEx build out other services like what Amazon is doing with last mile delivery. You're obviously going to see FedEx move into automation, and we saw some tests with robots and other things. You might see drones. This is basically FedEx versus the world, and I sort of like where that's going.